Welcome to the channel, guys. So today is going to be a project of replacing a KUBOTA excavator hose. Now, I was doing some work a couple days ago and I ruptured this hose for the arm cylinder on the excavator. And as you can see, it completely ruptured. It rubbed on like the cylinder. I will actually be putting some sleeve on this to protect it. But this is a Bridgestone 1/2 inch hydraulic hose that's 56 inches long. From KUBOTA, this thing was $208 or something, but I actually went ahead and found a local supply right the next town over that makes hydraulic hoses, and they fabricated this 56-inch hose with the proper KUBOTA fittings. They were saying that the threads on the KUBOTA fittings are actually like a British thread. I'm not sure if that's correct or not, but that's what he said. It's not just the JIC, you know, female end. It's actually like a British thread. So if you guys know more about that, place it down below in the comments. But we have the correct KUBOTA fittings on here. I went ahead already and tested this out to make sure it did work, and it does thread on nicely. Everything looks exactly the same. It's just that the nuts are slightly elongated, but that's okay. It gives you more wrenching flats. So this is a 5,000 PSI working pressure load, working pressure hose, I should say. The KUBOTA one actually is, when I looked up this spec, the Bridgestone spec here, which is, if I can read this, it's the PF2108 space QJB04. It's a Bridgestone hose, hydraulic hose, and I looked it up and it's a 3,000 PSI hose. So I'm replacing it with a 5,000 PSI working pressure, max working pressure. So this is gonna be plenty sufficient. I went ahead and I transferred over the clamp that goes on the arm, okay? On the boom part. This hose controls the arm, so that's the most forward part after the bucket. That attaches to the bucket. But anyways, as you can see, it's a complete huge rupture. When this thing broke, it like basically shot hydraulic fluid everywhere. The whole cab of the machine, the whole machine is covered in oil right now. I have to go through it and clean it up, but I'm gonna go ahead now and replace this. I transferred over that clamp and I'm ready to go. So I'm gonna bring this outside and show you the machine. All right, so I'm out here where the excavator is. As you can see, I basically had to stop what I was doing because the arm itself was starting to dig into the wall here, and I could not lift everything up higher to clear the wall, and I was just creating a mess. So I had to leave it in place. I'm sitting on top of this other terrace right here. As you can see, I had to remove some of the stone, the boulders, to get up over here to get some reach in order to deposit this blue stone here, 1.5 inch blue stone, all over these terraces I have in my house. This has been a huge project. It's been going on for like 3 years now, and I'm almost done here. This is the last stretch, and I want to get it done before the winter time. So I have to fix the machine now so I can get another couple days of just finishing off this these gravel beds here around the house. As you can see, it looks really nice. I redid all these stone walls, and I added some of these as well. I added some height. I completely added this one in the middle here. This one wasn't here before. So I've done a shit ton of work here. This is the front of the house. Like, all these stones, I put these in place. It took basically 3 years. I had to rip out all the shrubbery and all the crap that was here, and I redid all of this, as you can see it, with blue stone, and stacked all the nice stone walls the way you see them there. But let's get down at the machine and start taking things apart. And as you can see, it's just covered in hydraulic fluid, like from top to bottom. It's just completely wet. So let's go ahead and replace that hose, and let's get down there. All right, so let's see here. Let's try not to make too much of a mess. Put my tool over here. Everything is completely slick with this thing, so I'm just gonna feed it up through here this is where it actually, I think, rubbed a hole in the hose. Is right here at the bottom where it pivots on that sleeve. It just wore a hole right through this over time. So what I'm going to do is actually put a sleeve on this, some wire loom, just like you have on these guys here. Okay, all these are protected. So I'm going to do the same thing so this doesn't happen again. But I'm going to feed this through and get started with this hose install. Probably should clean some of that off first. Where is that rag? All right, so there's a whole bunch of old grease sitting on the bottom of this. I'm just going to clean that off. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Has them slipping and sliding over here. So I went ahead and kind of protected this with a piece of rag so nothing got in there. But let me go ahead and clean that again. I will have to fill up with some hydraulic fluid. I did lose a shit ton of fluid by rupturing this hose. So once I get on some level ground, I'll go ahead and fill it back up. But hopefully I have enough to get out of this predicament right here that I'm in. I'm on top of this terrace. Like I said, there's multiple terraces here. I had to in order to reach, I had to kind of, you know, make my way through here. All right, I'm just gonna put that hand tight for now until I get everything in place, and then I'll go ahead and tighten everything down properly. Okay, let's see if we can do this. Just hop this wall. All right, there we go. This is actually really convenient how this ended up, because I can reach all the fittings and the bolt that I need here without any issues. Just gonna flip that. Okay. Good boy. Oh, we dropped that bolt. Okay. Stay. Everything is very cold and slick right now. It is like 30 degrees out Fahrenheit. And this morning it was like 25 when I got out here, and I had to remove this so I could, you know, match it up with the hose and do some research to get the right one. But I was glad I was able to find this place locally that does hydraulic hoses, you know, cut to size, custom made, and get this thing back and running so I can finish this project. Okay, it's nice and tight. See how this clamps? This actually kind of slings it a little too high because it's putting it right up against that sleeve, the mount for the cylinder, and that's exactly what did it, you know. So I'm just gonna maybe angle this once I finish so it's out of the way, and then like I said, I'll put a sleeve on that so we don't have a problem in the future. So we just gotta just clean this up really quick, make sure there's nothing in the seat. Yeah, looks good. All right. I'm just gonna hide that green font just like that. I'd rather just see black hose versus some green labeling on it. So, all right, that looks pretty good. So what I'm gonna do is actually like kick this at an angle so it actually holds it away, naturally away from that mount, that pivot point. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just tighten that back up. And everything is just slick and oily right now and cold. So let's just kick it like that. That'll be perfect. Oh, I straighten back out. There we go. All right, I'll keep it like that. That looks good. It's not touching right now, but like I said, we're gonna put that sleeve on there. All right, so let me go now and tighten these up. You want to torque them to good and tight, okay? Just like that, good and tight. Sometimes if these leak, over time they get loose, and all I do is go back in and tighten them back up. And I've had to replace one of these before, and this was not cheap. This was a $200 hose. I wish I would have known about this place before I did that, because this was a very expensive hose, even though it's a very short, like 2-foot hose with this metal shielding on it. This you could take off and you know, put it back on the other one when you replace it. But holy crap, that one right there is actually, oh man, that one's damaged. There's a bunch of cracking going on right there. This is the one I replaced, so that one's still brand new. Crap. All right, so I'm gonna have to get that one fixed too. It's just a matter of time before it's just gonna rupture like it did. I was out here working, and all at once this thing just dropped, and then I couldn't pick it back up. It's terrible. So never trust the machine. Always make sure that you're in the clear, have no one underneath the machine when you're making moves at all, because these things can just, they're mechanical things, and they can just not work and rupture the lines, and then mechanically fail. All right, so let me go ahead and tighten up that bottom nut, and let's get this thing out of here. Let's give that a shot. I'm gonna wipe it down so I can see if it leaks. You know, kind of dry it off. It should not leak. It's you know, it's the perfect fitting for it, so it should be a brand new connection. Okay. Oh man, I can even feel, it's almost like the grease. I can feel this one here on the left blistering. It's almost like the grease did it. It like kind of like softened the jacket over time, but who knows? It is a 2006 machine, pre-emissions, so it doesn't have all that bullshit on there. I don't have to worry about DEF fluid or regenerating or any of that bullshit that some of the emissions excavators have on them. So all right, I'm gonna have to address those in the future, these hoses, because they're just gonna break down over time. All right, let's get this thing out of here, and let's get her filled up with some oil. All right, so there she is. I got her off the terrace embankment here, and everything is good to go. I had enough hydraulic pressure and fluid to actually operate the excavator. So now it's time to go top off that hydraulic fluid tank and clean that thing off. As you can see, it's just completely covered. This whole area is covered in hydraulic fluid. Okay, I don't know if you can see that, but all the rock is, I mean, it's gonna dry out and wash away, but the machine front to back is just covered. It just basically gushed over the top of the cab and, like, you know, kind of waterfalled all over the machine. As you can see, even the blade is all drenched. Okay, completely drenched. All the angle blade setup is, the back windshield is drenched. Look at that. It's freaking crazy. All right, let's go drive this thing up and on level ground, and let's top her off. There she is, all wet and oily. Got that mineral oil all over her. All right, let's fill her up and let's get this project done. All right, this thing is completely filthy. Let's take a look here. We got a bunch of chipmunk remnants, and there was a bunch of leaves in here that I just pulled out by hand, and this thing needs to be hosed off. I'm gonna be getting to that soon, but for right now, I just want to fill up this hydraulic tank. As you can see, she is bone dry. Look at that thing. I'm surprised this thing even moved. The oil's right at the bottom below the sight glass. But she was able to move, even with that low amount of oil in there. But I'm just gonna hit this thing with a leaf blower really quick and get all this crap out of here. All right, that's good for now. I did put mothballs in here. As you can see, these like Ziploc bags, but they chew on the Ziploc bag and the mothballs like evaporate. But it does help keep the chipmunk and mice away, because I had a problem where they chewed these wires right here and I had to repair them, you know, solder them back together and splice them back in. But the mothballs does work, but you just gotta keep on top of it. All right, so here is where we fill up. I'm just gonna clean this off because everything is a complete mess right now. If I can crack that thing open. Might need some pliers. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, so I have everything ready to go here. I got my funnel set up. I got my ISO 46 hydraulic fluid, 5-gallon pail here. We are ready to pour this thing in and get this machine topped off. All right, so as you can see, no oil in the sight glass. So we're gonna bring that right to the halfway mark, 3/4 mark of this sight glass and call it a day. I'll have to double check what the actual requirement is for oil level, but as long as I get to the top of that sight glass, I'm comfortable. Just chugging and chugging away. All right, let's slow this down. Let's check the sight glass. Didn't even make a mark yet. All right, so there's a good chance we're gonna need most of this. Still nothing. Okay, so I'm just gonna unload this whole 5-gallon pail in here and probably call it a day. Okay, so I went ahead and buttoned everything up. It took the whole 5-gallon pail of hydraulic fluid. As you can see, it's probably somewhere about right here right now. So it filled most of the tank, but it really unloaded a lot of that fluid when that hose ruptured. I really have to clean this machine now. This thing is a complete disaster. Complete disaster right now, but I'll get to it maybe tomorrow. But I went ahead and added some of that split loom material here. I don't have the right size to fully wrap around, but for right now I just kind of zip tied this temporary piece so it doesn't rub on the mounting ear on this bracket and on that bushing or sleeve. But as you can see in there, I'm not sure if you can see that, there's a nice gap all the way around, so by kicking this at an angle it helped it out. But that there is the hose install for the arm cylinder. Like I said, I'm gonna have to go through all of these. These are in pretty good condition because most of the time they're covered with this loom material, so that does help. I'm just gonna tuck those in to make sure that they stay nice and protected. But this one here, like I said, I replaced the other one. This one here, this is like a $200 hose. Okay, I'm gonna have the same hose fabrication place replace this one for me because I have the old one. I'm gonna take that one off, have them fix this one up and make a brand new one, fabricate a brand new one, and I'm gonna replace this one as well because I just want to make sure that nothing happens to this machine when I'm using it. You know, if I'm picking up a heavy load, I don't want it to just drop and you know, drop the whole load in front of me, depending on what I'm doing. But most of these are all protected. I'm gonna go through this and see what I need to do for the season. But like I said, I'm gonna have to go through this thing and clean this off because this windshield is completely oily. Everything is covered in oil. It's gonna evaporate, but that's gonna be it for the video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed the repair video. I know it's not much, but at least it's something. I haven't done any excavator stuff in a while, so I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.